What's up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding! Today's topic is building your franchise team. If you like the video, if you like the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, select all, and leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. Let's dive on in. Now, the first thing you need to do to build a franchise is to build your offensive and defensive line. Those are your foundation. Think of it like building a house. You want a solid foundation. You want something that everything can stand on, right? That's your offensive and defensive lines. That's where you start building from. Now, we have not had a good, solid offensive line for 5 years. This is why I keep saying we need to build a foundation. For all the dense people out there in our fan base that don't get it, keep following the diagram. You're going to see how this all makes sense. Now, I don't know if anybody here has built a house or has been in construction, but you'll be able to follow along with this. And even people that haven't should be able to mentally picture this. Now, once you built your foundation, you've fixed your offensive and defensive lines, then you need corners. And we're talking about the 4 corners of the house, right? Sometimes it can be 6 or 7, depending on the size of the house. But for this instance, let's just say it's 4. You're looking at a square or a rectangle house, right? Let's just say that's where it is. So you need 4 corners to hold up the house, right? Representing cornerbacks. Now, we need to go after 2 corners in this draft. The first one will likely be a bust. The second one will be the one we're looking for. That will stay for at least 3 years. As a starting point. Like Dante Jackson. Or James Bradbury. Or Josh Norman. Josh Norman is gone now, but you get my point. Those are the caliber we need to be able to hold up this house and build this franchise from the ground up. You don't build it from the top down. You build it from the ground up. That's how a house works. Again, for all those people that don't understand that. This is why you don't have construction jobs. So, next, you need a middle linebacker that represents your balance beams, all the different wooden beams inside your house, right, that you're building. Now, this holds up the structure. It is the middle of your house. And the middle linebacker also represents the plumbing and the electrical that is set up inside of your house. That's the middle of your house, right? Makes sense? Then you need a quarterback. That represents your concrete flooring. That represents the inside. Once you've built your 4 corners, once you've put up your foundation, that's what represents your concrete flooring and what everything is going to stand on, right? Again, that's a foundation player. Now tell me something. Does Tahir look like a player that could hold up a house? The house that we're talking about here? Answer that question for me, Panther fans, because I'm not seeing it. One pick, that doesn't sell me on him. You got to do a lot more than that. He's been quietly getting his numbers, but that ain't it. So, we're going to need a middle linebacker in the draft. I recommend Chaz Surratt, second round. Now, quarterback. We can get into the whole quarterback conversation with Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm not going to do that. You get my point. Free safety is next. And that's your insulation and heating for your house. Now, you got to have heating for your house, especially during the wintertime, especially if you live up north. You got to have it. I mean, it's crucial to building a house up north, right? It's important down here too. You know, it's important everywhere that you're building a house. So, that position is Trey Boston. Now, we got Sam Franklin. And I've been satisfied with Sam Franklin. And Trey Boston has been stepping up this year. So I'm very happy with that. I don't know if Trey Boston is worth that 3-year deal, but I'm happy with it. For now. I'm happy with him for now. Strong safety. Represents your attic, your basement, and your garage. That is Jeremy Chinn. You want those structurally sound. You want those to be able to support your house. They're an addition to your house. They rescue everything that you're doing in your house. So, you're going to need an attic. You're going to need a basement. You're going to need storage space. You're going to need a garage, right? That's Jeremy Chinn. So, moving on. The wide receivers represent your walls of your house and the windows. Get it? Wesley Walls? Huh? Creative pun. That was intended. But yes, the wide receivers represent your walls and windows. So, those have got to be solid. Those have got to be held up well. And those have got to be structurally sound as you're trying to build your offense. I've been satisfied with that. I think the walls are all right. Tight end is your kitchen. Now, think about this. With Joe Brady's offense, we have not used the tight end that often. So it leads back to the whole chicken and egg situation. Is Joe Brady not using Ian Thomas because he's not capable? Or is Ian Thomas capable, but he's not being given the ball because of Joe Brady's playbook? Question to be answered there. And Big Cat brought that up on his stream, and I'm glad he did. So, shout out to him on that one. Fullback. Use your bathrooms. Now, I'm sorry to represent a fullback with a bathroom, but it makes sense, right? It's your bathrooms. It's your safe area where you know you can get the first downs, right? And you can continue on with life. I'm not going to say anything more. This is YouTube. Come on. Defensive tackle is your living room and your bedrooms. Now think about this. Think about this. Defensive tackle is meant to stop the run, correct? It's meant to block those holes up. It's meant to stuff the run. It's meant to keep your defense afloat and keep it moving. Sleep does the same thing for human beings, right? So that's your bedroom. And your living room, when you entertain guests, such as running backs. So, makes sense, right? Defensive end represents your carpet and your painted walls of your house. Now, the defensive end position is meant to stop the run as well as pass rush. So it's meant to support the walls. The paint is on the walls to support your house. But it's also meant to pass rush as well, which means the carpet supports your foot trackings, right? As you walk around your house. So, and it takes a lot of abuse. So, defensive ends take a lot of abuse from these offensive linemen, so it makes sense, right? From a matter of speaking. Now, next, depth players represent your furniture, your car, and your appliances. Simple enough, right? Those are the extra things that you have that are in your house. Simple enough to understand. If you're following along with this. Now, your head coach is going to be your maintenance man, your plumber, and your electrician. Now, if that maintenance man is anything like the one that helped Big Cat try to fix his internet last night, we're going to have a problem. But I'm going to tell you this. The head coach should be able to fix the roster problems. He should be able to coach the team. Electrical, meaning, electrify the team, get them sparked up, get them hyped up. And he's also a plumber, which means he's going to be responsible for some of the plays and plug in who he wants to play, what he wants to do during a game situation. So in that way, he's a plumber. Now, the maintenance man part of it has to do with the flags, the overall coaching style, the timeout usage, the clock management, stuff like that. That's maintenance. So, think about that when you look at a head coach again. Next one is your general manager. Now, that's going to be the renter of the house, right? The person that's letting you rent the house until you paid it off, correct? So think about this. We are renting this house that we are creating until we get a Lombardi, right? Or several Lombardis once we get them. And the owner is the owner of the house. Simple enough to understand. This goes through every position, every area, and it represents the entire franchise house. Now, how you build that house can either be good or bad, depending on what you decide to build and what you need. And it takes time. It's a construction process. which is why the coaches say, trust the process, right? 3 years. We are now about to enter year 2 of it once the season is over. And we're going to start building through the free agency and the draft, which means we're going to be getting the tools and the pieces that we need through the free agency and the draft. What pieces are we going to get? That's what matters. And if you're a construction worker, if you're somebody that builds houses for a living, you know how important getting the right pieces means to building a house. If you get the wrong ones, your house is going to fall. And guess who's going to be blamed for that? The person building the house, right? The owner of the house is going to get really, really mad at you because you didn't get the right pieces to build the house. You know? So, the renter of the house, which is the general manager, is responsible for all of this. And guess who just got fired this year? Marty. That's the general manager. Point blank, he's getting blamed for everything. He's the scapegoat. Starting to make sense now, folks? How all these pieces fit together into one giant jigsaw puzzle of a house that we're trying to build. And if you go, think about the draft as your different stores like Lowe's, maybe Home Depot, something like that. You're going to go and you're going to get your wood, your supplies, right? Going to the right place to get the right supplies makes a difference. Just like the number that we draft in each draft makes a difference. You can't just walk in there and just say, oh, I demand a hacksaw or I demand this or that. It doesn't work like that. You got to ask. If you're going to spend such and such amount of dollars on certain supplies and then go into that building process, and that's when you realize, uh-oh, I don't have what I need. Guess whose fault that is? You know what I'm saying? And if we end up at number 4 instead of number 9, that means we can get better supplies. Quality supplies. Not just settle for the B grade stuff. Nah, when you're building a house, you want the A grade stuff, right? You don't want to get too expensive, but you also want to get what you want, right? That's the scouting process. You got to scout this stuff. You got to scout players. You know? You see how all this fits in together, folks? This is how you build a franchise, and it takes 3 years to properly build a franchise. Look at New England. You think they did that overnight? Look at Green Bay. You think they did that overnight? No. We tried let's sign everybody that we possibly can and try to win now method. That didn't work, did it? The house fell apart, didn't it? Now look at that in comparison to the team that we had in 14 and 15. Look at what we started with in 2013. We built it up, step by step. It's a process. I want people to understand that because some of y'all don't get it. Some of y'all just don't get it. Some of y'all are over here saying, the draft order doesn't matter. It absolutely does. And I'm going to explain that in the next video. I'm putting this one out first so that you understand what the process is. Then you'll understand why it's important that we do certain things. Step by step. In 2013, we started out drafting certain key players. Then we took the step for the playoffs. Then we got the division 3 times in a row. Next step, win a divisional game. We did that. Next year, we won the NFC Championship, right? And made an appearance in the Super Bowl, which I felt like we did a year early, but that's okay. If we had kept what we had, or managed to, we would have had a Lombardi in 2016. Point blank, I'm saying it. We would have had a Lombardi sitting in Charlotte in 2016. You think I'm joking? Look at the process I just explained to you. And that stepladder process, put them together. Put 2 and 2 together, folks. That adds up to a Lombardi. If we get the right pieces together and we weed out the wrong pieces, we can start really building this house and preparing ourselves to go after a Lombardi at the end of 3 years. But it starts this year. It starts with this draft right here. I'm telling you, you can't just sit on some of these players and expect to get 10 wins next year. We got to have pieces. We got to have everything we need to go after those 10 wins and get into the playoffs. That takes knowledge, and that takes a GM that knows what he's doing to pick up the right players and weed out the wrong ones so that we have a successful draft, a successful free agency, and we start building upon our foundation that we already have. So with that being said, I hope you got a lot out of this video, and I hope it starts to make a little bit more sense to you guys. But for all the dense people out there, I don't think they're ever going to get it. And if they don't, I don't know what to tell you. But this is how the process works. So I'm happy that I was able to fully explain and successfully show you guys in a step-by-step fashion how this is accomplished. And if the management is watching, thank you very, very much, and I hope you got a lot out of this and learned a lot. Keep pounding.